I changed my room where I'm recording, so I have to check. Actually, let me make sure that audio is on and everything. Yep. Well, I want to appreciate everybody that sees the replay or sees this now. This is a very we're living in perilous times. We are living in perilous times. I'm just shocked at the many people that came together that, and I'm trying, let me get to the chat because I know I didn't pronounce anything. So hi Miss Lackey, how are you? We're living in times where for those people that actually still believe in the word of God, people that were not manipulated by masteries or slave masters is what I meant to say, and that understands that those people use the word of God to manipulate you. But God's word has always been about how we are all created in his image. And the one thing I have to be honest and say to you is that it does not matter what you think, does not matter what you say. If you don't want to be my friend, I don't really care. I don't keep a lot of them anyway. I'm never going to deny, I'm never going to hate, and I'm never going to stop believing in God. I know when I call out to the Lord, I don't know about nobody else. When I call out to him, when I say Jesus, when I say Jesus, when I go outside, when I call on him, I see the trees begin to blow, the winds begin to blow. I see how the leaves begin to move. I can see the birds come to where I am. I can see the heavens begin to move. So many days in my life when I called on his name, and I mean business when I get loud like that, when I forget about who's around me like that, when I'm going through too much and I need to call on help from heaven. When I need the angels to actually fight this battle, that's when I get mad. Never forsaken me. So it does not matter what the next person say about who he is and how he's just sitting back, and you can sit on your knees, pray all you want to, but God ain't doing nothing. You can hate God. You can get angry with God, but I know better than that. I know if God's sitting back, that means that we can do this. That means that he gave us everything we need to fight. He gave us everything we need to win. I've been listening to nothing but Fannie Lou May. Fannie Lou Hammer. I know y'all been seeing a lot. Fannie Lou. I think it's Fannie Mae Hammer. She is one of our sisters from the 60s who got beat up by white men that are racist. We're not talking about white America that loves us, okay? We're talking about racist people. This is a time when you have to be separate from the people. This is a time when real intentions come out, when real feelings come out. When somebody don't like you because of your skin color, this is a time when they are exposed. And I'm seeing it in Trump. I'm seeing how he can't even bring it up out of him. It don't come up out of him. It does not come out of him where he can have real empathy for the death of Floyd. I'm seeing Candace Owens, a black woman, how she can't have no empathy. These people, they think they the best thing happening since sliced bread because they scholars, because they graduated top of their classes, because they can outsmart and think you and I. That don't mean anything. Candace, I heard you and I dragged you so bad that Twitter blocked me. I dragged you so bad that I grieved God, okay? God was like, chill out, okay? You got to calm down. You got to stop cussing so much, okay? Just sit back. Chill out. I got this. But I dragged her so much because I wanted to touch every daggone intention in her heart. I wanted to touch her motive when she came out and she said what she said about George Floyd. All she could do was judge this man by his record. But the God I believe in, it ain't about your scholarships. It's not about who you are in the top of your class. It's not about how articulate you speak. It does not matter if you are clean as a whistle. Your best is as dirty rags to that God. So just as you try to tear George Floyd down, is the same as you. Your best is of dirty rags. How dare you? How dare you come at this man? We all got a pass. I wanted to start a hashtag. I got a record. Hashtag. Would you kill me too? She acts like he should die because of his past. People judge you because you addicted to drugs, but they ain't never walked a mile in your shoes. They don't know how it feels to hurt your arm and have to, or hurt your body, get in a car accident, go to the doctors. They give you Percocet. Let's talk about it. And you become addicted to Percocet. They don't know nothing about how that takes over your mind, and you're not strong enough. But they quick to judge you. They don't know about the oppression you've been through. Okay, I got a coworker. She's Indian. And we chat all the time. We cool. You know, we cool. We just do. But she said something that I know I've been hearing a lot. All lives. But actually, I haven't. I have not been hearing a lot. I heard a couple people say all lives matter. But my problem is, what grieves me is that you have not experienced what we've experienced. This is just not something we want to do. We don't want to have to be protesting in the heat. People don't want to have to constantly bring up racism when you got friends that you love and adore and admire that are white. You don't want to have to bring this up. And your people was not getting their ass beat. Lord forgive me. You wasn't getting your tail beat up. You wasn't having to scratch out the right answer in school, because if you said the reason we cannot be first class citizens is because A, the state's law, or B, slavery, and you say slavery and you get that question wrong, even though that's right. You wasn't oppressed. Your great grandmother was not a slave. Okay? So you can say all lives matter, but like I said, this year intentions are coming out. Seeing people for what they really believe is coming out. People, jealousy is as cold as the grave. People really pretend. They pretend to like you, pretend to love you. But it's situations like this when the curtains are pulled back and you can see who people really are. Candace is she's so desperate and thirsty to be accepted by Trump. It's so disgusting and disgraceful. I just don't understand that type of person where you want to be on his side. You want him to accept you. You deny yourself. And she talking about, they say I'm Aunt Tom, Uncle Tom. Yes, you are Aunt Tom. Yes, you are. You proudly are. Yes, you are. Well, I want y'all to hear, if you haven't, what Candace said. Let's take a look and see what Candace said about George Floyd, who just got killed mercilessly by a white cop. And the reason I emphasize it is because it's the reality. And we don't live in delusional places. We live in a reality. This guy exercised his authority over this man, had his hands tied, face down to the ground. This George could have whooped his behind if he didn't have been locked down, if he didn't respect authority and he just fought the man, if he didn't fear that he would be arrested or killed. I'm just saying his strength. But you had to tie him down, put him down on the ground. And then you got this wump Candace, this thing that would disrespect this man like that. So I'm going to play this real fast, y'all. And I'm going to be fast today.
Hello, Facebook family. I have decided to do this video. It has been weighing very heavily on my heart and on my mind as well. And it was something that I wanted to say early on, but there were so many emotions and so much pressure for me to go with the popular opinion about who George Floyd was. And sometimes it can be difficult when there are just so many external pressures to say what you believe. And this was an instance where I felt like my silence would have been better in the beginning, but the more that I think about it, I realize that we are being sold a lot of lies, and at the detriment to the Black community, at the detriment to.
So I'm going to definitely cut her off, because wasn't nobody in the Black community pressuring her. Nobody legitimate was pressuring her, because I was hoping she shut her mouth and keep her mouth closed. Keep yourself out of it. We didn't want her part of hearing what she has to say. because she's the type of person with a haughty heart. She thinks her works makes her better. She thinks because she may not have a record like George could have had, that she was better. So we didn't really give a darn about what you had to say, Candace. We didn't really want to hear you.
The white community and at the detriment to America as a whole. So I want to come out and say that I do not support George Floyd and the media depiction of him as a martyr for Black America. I'm going to explain why, and I hope that some of you guys will understand where I'm coming from. I have spent a considerable amount of time reading a lot of Black authors that I think are some of the most brilliant Black Americans breathing. Walter Williams, Shelby Steele, Thomas Sowell. And I recently came across something that was an idea that was planted into my head by Shelby Steele. And it has been something that I cannot forget. It is something that will stick with me for the rest of my life. And it is something that I hope for the Black Americans that are watching will stick with you for the rest of your life. Shelby Steele said that the Black community is unique from other communities. Our culture is unique from other communities because we are the only community that caters to the bottom denominator of our society. Now, let me explain what that means. It means to say that not every Black American is a criminal, not every Black American is committing crimes, but we are unique in that we are the only people that fight and scream and demand support and justice for the people in our community that are up to no good.
Let me stop her real quick, because you know what I really want to do? And I don't lie because God knows your heart, right? He knows your intentions. So why lie? I want to whip her behind so bad. I do. I want to knock her out. I do. I do. Because that's the worldly, fleshly desires up in me. And I would love, and I hope she can fight. Cause I want some workout. Like I just want to whoop her on her. Do y'all want to jump her? Like, because this whole thing we doing for George, this is not about us making him sound like, are we trying to make him sound like an angel? At what point did we ever make the focus about him being this honorable man? Whoever said he was honorable? Thank God for Jesus. And I'm going to continue to thank God for Jesus. And if you don't love Jesus and think, I recommend you try everything else. You try him. Try him. Because like I said, he don't care about how you try to sound like a white articulate woman. Respect to the white women. I love it, but I'm not white, I'm Black. But it's not about how articulate you are, Candace. It's not about how you surround yourself with the people you wish to be, Candace. It's not about how many debates you won with the in the politics. People fear her. People fear her because they scared she gonna bring that. You know how she is. That debate. She has all whatever to back it up. She studies the law. She studies politics. She prepares herself, and she's good at what she does. People are threatened by her of all races. I'm not threatened by her because when you know, what is there to be threatened by? And when you confident about what you don't know, who can make you feel inferior? If I don't know, I don't know. That's what I'm going to say. But I'm going to tell you how I feel. And that's all I can do. And find out if I want to know, go find out. But I will not, like I always say, you got to stay confident. You got to be confident no matter what. People like Candace want you. She feels like she's up here. She thinks she feels like she's better. She feels like she is the exceptional. But that's to God, she's filthy, dirty rags because her heart is haughty. The first thing you do is look for the bad in George Floyd. The first thing you do is pay attention and hone in on what those authors said, how we go to the bottom denominator of our people. And we're going to fight for what's right. And it does not matter if this man got a record. Trump got a record, but you serve and worship him. Didn't he cheat on his taxes? Didn't he get in trouble with his what do you call this gambling thing or whatever, his casino? You think that it's rumors out here now that he slept with 13-year-olds and he has actual court documents to prove it. But you worship Trump. She's so lost. She's so lost, but let's continue.
You would be hard pressed to find, a Jewish person who has spent 5 stints in prison, who commits a crime and dies while committing a crime, and that the Jewish people champion and demand justice for. You will be hard pressed to find this in white America. You'll be hard pressed to find this even in Latino America. If there is a person that is spent multiple times in prison, you are not going to see a
And
bunch
what I
of
hate what they do, what I hate, abhor, is they diminish that we still oppress people. Let me tell y'all something, black people. Because you don't speak as a white person, that does not mean that you're less. It just means you're black. But I always try to remind you that when we were most vulnerable to learn, we had schools back in the what? From the 18 to 1960s. When we had those opportunities, what did they do to our schools? To our grandmothers? And you might say you wasn't a slave back then. Okay, but the hereditary, your ancestors, your grandmother, they were slaves. They burned our schools down. How can you learn when you're traumatized? And then they who dealt with the trauma firsthand, the Rosa Parks, the Dr. Martin Luther King daughters and sons, they taught what they knew. So out of what they knew, educational wise, it was not much. It wasn't that we didn't have the same educational system, and we still don't. Why are they saying that African Americans are dying most from coronavirus? There is a nurse that came out and said that they were killing black people. If you can't trust them in the broad daylight, the police officers, how can we trust them in the hospital? How can we trust what they're giving us? How can you trust them? So she likes, and I'm gonna try to play the video, but she likes to portray this image, this facade. And you hear how she enunciates. She wants to be a white woman. She does not like who she is she does not like black people. And she thinks that black people, you know how she think, thugs, talk stupid, nothing but attitudes, are stupid, you know. And I have to say, there are a lot of things that we need help with. But Candace, my question was, why can't you teach those that don't know? Why are you tearing them down? Why can't you, what you know, why can't you reach out and touch them? Let me play this video.
Latinos coming out, demanding justice for this person, even if, and I want to be very clear, what I'm saying is not any defense for Derek Chauvin. I hope Derek Chauvin gets the justice that he deserves to be, implemented upon him.
She certainly offended Derek, the brother.
George
Floyd, she offended him
for the way that he died. But I also am not going to accept the narrative that this is the best the Black community has to offer. For whatever reason, it has become fashionable over the last 5 or 6 years for us to turn criminals into heroes overnight. And it is
see, y'all, y'all gonna have to look at this video. I can't take her too much because I'm gonna just interrupt her. Candace, this is not about making him a hero. We are fighting for our rights as human beings. So are you saying that the cop was justified? The 4 officers that held him down were justified for what they did because you don't like the man's lifestyle? You don't like the fact that he was they said was on drugs? How many people was on drugs? You might not be sniffing it up. You might be swallowing it up. It might not come in a pack for you. It may not come in a needle for you. It might come in a bottle for you. It might come in a tablet. It may come in a liquid form. You might be an alcoholic. She might be. There's plenty of addictions. She's such a hypocrite. And she mentioned the Latino community. And she mentioned the Jewish people. No one has seen as much slavery as the African American people. Even Africans are over there And I'm going to play y'all this video talking about since colonization, since they English came over and tried to take somebody's land. So they want to talk about looting, but they burned Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma down. They didn't pay them back. They want to talk about looting, but they took from us. They raped our people. They beat our people, took us to jail unlawfully. They made laws to pass laws for gun rights, and we could not have guns. Was it 1843? They kept amending those laws in order for them to be able to pop us, shoot us. Do y'all know that yesterday that they were the Senate, Republican Senate, he tried to pass a bill yesterday during George Floyd's funeral. And you had Cory Booker, Black, and another Democratic woman, Black, who fought. They passed this bill in 2019, anti-lynching Emmett Till bill. Do you know that the white Republican guy tried to amend that law and they denied it? They wasn't going to do it because, in my opinion, are you doing that because you're trying to help out those cops to get away with lynching? That's another story. Let's try to keep this going. But I'm just letting y'all know they passing laws every day. We got to be woke.
That I find to be despicable, and it's something that I refuse to stand by any longer, and I am not going to play a part in it, no matter how much pressure comes from Black liberals and Black conservatives as some token of people wanting you to believe that this is the only way you can be Black, is you have to say this was wrong and that this, this person was amazing. I won't do that. George Floyd was not an amazing person, and as soon as this video hit the internet, I did just basic searches. Everyone jumped on it and was looking at the police officer, and everyone agrees that the police officer was wrong, and the police officer has been arrested. So that is not the reason I'm not discussing that, is because that is not something that has been misconstrued in the media. He has been turned into the devil.
She is a blind witch. She is a blind witch. Let's make this a little smaller, okay? She's a blind witch. The only reason why that police officer was arrested, I'm sorry, y'all, I don't want to holler too loud, is because of what we did. White America and Black America and Asian America and Latino America, we all came together. Even over in Paris, they came together. They demanded, yes, we had to burn some buildings. Yes, some of your shit got stole. Lord forgive me. Yes, we had to do some wicked ass stuff on your level so that you can hear us, lock them up. And then they threw that murder in the 3rd degree at us, knowing it was 1st degree murder. No, that's not good enough. 60,000 people in Houston came together. Every state came together. 50 states protested. These wasn't peaceful protests. These were war protests, what I call war. Because you would not arrest these people. They didn't even want to arrest them. The prosecutor did not even want to arrest them. If I'm saying it right, it was either the DA, prosecutor, one of them. But we kept fighting. Ahmaud Arbery was just killed in February. Breonna Taylor was killed by cops. How about those cops is not charged yet? And she has the nerve to overlook. See, that's what they do. Trump does. He overlooks the reason why you're catching hell. Is because your officers are shooting down Black people, trying to depopulate us, take us off the face of the world.
Is, and there is no reason for us to harp on that any longer, because white Americans are not uplifting Derek Chauvin as a victim or pretending that he's an amazing human being. But George Floyd is being uplifted as an amazing human being. For those of you who have not yet seen the clips and did not pursue or wait for more clips to come out, first and foremost, George Floyd at the time of his arrest was high on fentanyl and he was high on methamphetamine. This came back in both of his autopsy reports. If you pursue the 911 transcript, you can see the person describing somebody who is out of their mind high, and which is what made the person fearful, because he tried to use a bill that I guess was a fake bill to purchase something, and then he was outside acting weird, and they in their police call said that this person was obviously distorted and on drugs. When he is put into handcuffs and is put against the wall, a baggie of what looks to be like cocaine or it's white. It's a white baggie that he drops onto the floor that you can see in an image. If you look up the clip, the media is refusing to circulate it. You can find it on Twitter if you use DuckDuckGo and look up
Let me
George
tell you
Floyd.
something. I wouldn't care if they did show it. She can't name enough. You can't pile on enough excuses of why they had a right to choke him down like they did. They had no right to decrease his actual defenses, take away all his defenses. I don't care if he was on drugs. I see a lot of drug addicts around here that's not black. I see a lot of drug addicts around here and dealers that is black. People are on drugs, okay? Let's get over the fact. No one's saying he's a hero. This is the reality that we are in. You got a lot of people that, like I said, they on pills. No joke. And they're really addicted to this thing.
Floyd baggie. You can watch the clip yourself with your own eyes. He had drugs on him at the time of his arrest. Now, barring all of that, nobody thinks that he should have died during this arrest. But what I find despicable to be is that everyone is pretending that this man lived a heroic lifestyle when he didn't. And I want to talk about what his lifestyle was.
She's lying. No one's pretending that. We're not even making that a focus point.
Is a martyr or should be lifted up in the black community, and that we should be buying t-shirts with his name on it. Okay, so here we have, first and foremost, let's start from the bottom of his record. And by the way, I am not saying that if you have a record you don't deserve a second chance. I think
all right, y'all, so I'm done with her. We're gonna stop her because I don't want to spend too much time at all. And that's just what I wanted y'all to see, was how it's your own that will sell you to the slave master. Your own will sell your life over. I don't care what drug he was on. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care. It does not constitute a man being murdered by a police officer who's getting paid our money to protect and serve citizens. It does not constitute. It does not equate. It's not a good enough reason to tie the man down with his face down on the dirty ground and kill him. I see that they're saying that he had COVID-19 because, again, they're trying to help the prosecutors or the defense, whatever you call it. They're trying to help the other side to win the case. Because no matter what we try to do, it's going to be black females like Candace Owens. It's going to be plenty people that still try to make excuses. They don't want us free. They don't. We deserve God. Jesus died for us. That's the one thing I hold on to. No matter what we've been through, he's been through it worse. Okay? He's been through it worse. And whether you believe he's the son of God or not, the man died for a sin. That's what happened. He was 33. I'm 38. I live in this world longer than he did. So and he was a protester. And what he did for us, our best, is not good enough. It's not good enough. It does not mean anything. The world will judge you off of what you earn in this life. But remember, when you die and you bury or you burned up in a fire, because you got the words be escaping you, don't they? When you live, because people, when you die, because people, when they put you in the thing and you die because they cremated it. Then everything you earn, all your earnings, all your works, everything material, it stays right here and it don't do nothing. So they want to talk about this. The president's talking about the building. He's talking about a church, y'all, that they try to burn down. Burn the church down, okay? Burn that church down. God ain't in it. God ain't in it. The Spirit of God is not in every church. Just because you think it's a church dedicated to God don't mean it's a church dedicated to God. God is in here or he's not. You bring the church. It's not the church house. That needs to be burned down. I recall when Jesus went into the temple, the church, and they were doing what? What were they doing? They was playing cards, drinking, sinful things. What did Jesus do? Jesus got angry and he turned the table over. This is symbolic that it's not about the church building that can be rebuilt. You can make it bigger and better. But George Floyd's life is done on this earth. You cannot do him again. He can't be created again. He's cut off from the world. So I don't care about no building that God ain't in anyway. You doing your evil? He takes the Bible, he goes in front of the church to do what? To do what? Because that Bible could have burned a hole in your hand. And the Bible was upside down. What you got the Bible for? What's that supposed to do? It's ridiculous. It's not even worth getting angry about. Because people, they don't understand. It's not about how tailored your suit is. It's not about if you had the best barber. They colored your hair, put your toupee on Trump. It's not about how many white, powerful men you have next to you. If they don't got God in them, it's not anything. When you die a lonely, cold soul. And all what's in your heart is what's going to show God. When he opens up the book and reads everything in your life which you did that he cares about, and it's nothing your money can buy. It's nothing the best schools can give you. It's not that. It's not material things. It's spiritual things. So who cares about that church building that they burned down? I wanted them to burn the church down because the church ain't got God in it anyway. It needs to come down. All the sin that's been in that White House going on. I said it before. I don't need the name White House rubs me the wrong way. It do. Every chance you get, Trump, every chance he gets, he comes at Obama because we know why. Because he's black. Because he had a powerful position as a black man. That's why. That's why. Because you can't fathom, nor can you understand, nor can you care or empathize. You don't have the capacity. You don't have the heart to love. You don't love. And guess what, guys? We don't have to ask them to love us because they can't. It's not in them to do it. But guess what? You don't gotta like me. Don't like me. I don't like you. Don't like me. Don't like me. But you will respect me. You will respect me. That's what you're gonna do. Because as long as I carry myself respecting my elders, like do what God said do. And it's not about money. It's about how I respect my elders as they show themselves respectful. Sometimes you got to put people in their place. Sometimes they're not even wise enough. You got grandmothers and grandmoms that act like 2-year-olds, 6, 7-year-olds, think like 7-year-olds, giving bad advice to people. This is not good. This is not good. I'm going to tell you what, Candace, your works are of filthy rags to the one that really matters. And your day is coming. It is coming. When you will be betrayed by the very ones that you admire and you worship and you love and honor. How can they even respect you? They don't respect you. What I said before was what I see with, I want to say rich people, is that they really like black people that are themselves. Be yourself. When you sound like you, when you're not trying to pretend to be another person, when you're not, that's what they like. Dr. Martin Luther King, he was himself. He was always consistently being himself. He sounded like himself, carried himself like himself, had that stern look like himself. He preached the word of God and preached justice like himself. That's why he was invited to NBC. That's why he was always invited to places of prestige. He was a man of honor and velour because he was confident in who he was. Candace is not. Candace does not like black people. Candace looks down on black. I don't care what she say. If you had a heart, you would have never disregarded George Floyd in front of his family, in front of his daughter, his child, his kids. You would have never, that wouldn't have been the first thing you thought about doing and saying about him, was talking about his record. You would have been looking for the cops' record. That's what your intentions would have been. Your priorities are jacked up. jacked up. I mean, I respect the many white American people that are in this fight with us because they are helping us. Their word means a lot. Their fight means a lot. So that's what I wanted to say when it came to that. One thing I would ask is that we as a people, that we would use communication better when we are in front of anybody, especially your kids, people that listen to you, that learn from you. Try to be clear when you speak. You don't have to sound like anybody else, but don't, I heard them saying to the people, the little girl that was videotaping George Floyd, and other people, whoever's voices I heard, saying, bruh, get off of him, bruh. And that irritated me because they're not your brother. Brother is a very sacred word, very personable word. It's a personable sibling. And bro, that's not your brother. Like, I think that what I think is that we can do better when we communicate. I saw videos where they were protesting and you had some black people, when the cops was lined up, they were white, they wasn't black. They was lined up. There was a man. As a matter of fact, let me show y'all. So there was a man a black man that was being aggravating. He was trying to he was annoying the cops. He was annoying the cops. And this is what I mean about using your brain. Like, why would you do that? Hold on, y'all. I don't understand that. See, when you do things like that, let's take a look at it first. When you do things that way, let me try it again. Hold on. See, what you do is you setting other people up where other people, they might take it out on somebody else. Somebody innocent, somebody that's not aggravating them. Let's check this out. If y'all can, hopefully you can hear this. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When you do things like that, when you asking for, they can very well see you on another day, remember who you are, and they can kill you. But let me ask y'all, do y'all think they would be justified? Of course not. But I just want to know. They wouldn't be justified for killing you, but you're aggravating them. Why would you put yourself in that situation? And what they will do, they'll think all black people are like that. Then they'll go mess with the kids, mess with your sons, weaker vessels, younger people, vulnerable people. They will. They can hurt them because of something you doing as a grown ass man. If you in front of them, communicate better. Why are you in front of them? Why don't you talk to them intelligently? Say what you have to say to them at that point. Why are you acting like a fucking look, I'm sorry for the cussing, but why are you acting like a kid? You doing that stuff that they say that's all we do. They say that's all we are. Low IQ, temperamental. And that's what you do? Even though the guy was laughing. Mama, I showed my mom. She was like, hey, you know what? He could be laughing because he like, I'm gonna get you. Yup. But it could be innocent. But why would you get in front of them and why would you try to purposely aggravate them? I think it's time to communicate better. I'm sick and tired of them stereotyping. I don't steal. But yet you got them, they ain't showing the white ones looting like that. They showing the black ones looting because they want to show the world, see, this is why George died, because look how they act. They are ghetto. That's all they do. It's time to do better. It's time to speak better. It's time to feel better. Why do black people feel like they ugly? Because they dark. Because of them calling you monkeys, calling us monkey, calling us animals and all that. Black is beautiful. Chocolate is beautiful. It is. It is. I admire a lot of things about a lot of races. I don't point out, I don't say one is I just personally I admire what everybody brings in this life. So I think it's time for us to do self-reflection. I think it's time for us to start communicating, look, effectively. Getting in front of the cops in a time where they killing you, peoples, black men, it's not smart. It was a black woman, and I don't know where that video is. I don't know if I got it, but she was in front of a police officer, white. No. The guy was white. I don't. He didn't have a uniform on, and she was very close to him, and she said, "What did you call me? You called me a black bee." And she was aggravating him until he started pushing her camera. She escalated and started screaming, "You better not touch me. I will do this to you. I will do that." Knowing that a woman should not be fighting a man because a man is always stronger. Why aggravate the man? If you can beat him up, great. But he beat her up. He beat her up and she started crying. I'm like, you got to be smarter. So I think Candace feels like how I feel. I think she feels worse about us though, but I think she feels that way. But why can't she use her platform to teach her black sisters and brothers? Why is her way of doing it? Why is she tearing them down? Why is she being a part of the problem, being a part of the abuse instead of solution? The healer, the teacher, the lover, the friend. Why? Because it's what's in her. It's what's in her. And like I said, if it's in a human being, it's in a church building. So tear the thing down. Burn that house up. Burn that church down. I ain't gonna call it a house of God. It's not. Burn the church down. And it's time to rebuild the church. It's time to rebuild. Turn down them old ways. It's time to cut down and burn down those old evil thoughts, those old religious traditional things. Time to burn and take down all those sick ways of living, thinking, and believing. If you hate the black people, for real, because you think we can't articulate ourselves, because we always get a temper, we don't listen, we're ready to snap, all we do is steal, then why don't you use your knowledge to help talk to them? Get on their level, find out how to reach them, try to help them instead of tearing them down. That's all I'm saying. Or else you just don't have it in you. It's just what it is. And like I said, we're not asking for you to like us. We're not asking for you to love us. I'm no longer asking for you, Trump, to empathize when you can't. I stopped a long time ago. You don't empathize because it's not in you. I want to believe in my president. I want to support my president. I want to back him up. But I can't because I don't stand for what he stands for. When I was hurt, you did not help me. When I was sick, you did not heal me. When I was hungry, you did not feed me. You did not. When I was broken, you wasn't there for me. So why would I support you? I have nothing good to say about you. You talk about Trump did a meeting today or whatever, a briefing, and he talked over George Floyd. He didn't even hardly mention George Floyd. I don't recall him really talking anything about George except the economy and how that's going to help African American people. And a reporter said, Sir, how is that economy going to help African Americans in this time? What does that have to do with George Floyd, sir? And he didn't want to answer the questions. He signed some kind of bill today, something to do with the economy. They care more about money than they care about lives. That's why we got to care about each other. If they think you ignorant, they think you don't speak well, this is me. This is what I would do. I would start working on how I speak. And I'm not trying to sound like you. My language is black. I'm black. It's going to sound black. Okay? It's going to be black. But at the same time, I am going to learn to speak in a way that you can effectively hear me. You can effectively listen to me. I'm not going to call you dogs when I have an opportunity to stand in front of you. But I'm going to grab your attention. I'm going to tell you what my concerns are. I'm going to have some examples of what I'm talking about. And I'm going to present to you what I need from you. Not what I want first, what I need from you. You, the president. And this is another thing, y'all, we need to do. We need to pay attention to our local government. We putting them in office. I used to do it. I'm not even gonna lie. I used to do it. I do it. And when I went down there to vote, I ain't go last year because I just gave up. But I want to go this year. I voted for whoever was Democrat. Didn't know nothing about what their bills they wanted to do, their campaign, what they really wanted to do. I just voted. We can't do that anymore. That's messing us up. We got to look, forget if they Democrat or Republican. We have to really look. What do we want to see? We need prison reform. We got people in jail. They putting charges for one thing. 10 different ways. That is 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, 12 years. You'll be in there for life over what? Having a gun. When they got guns, they own gun ranges. They do. We can't get guns like them since the beginning of gun times. We can't do it. So we have to start researching our state, local government, who we want up there. Read what they about. It's important. It affects us. And I think everybody black should be voting this year. I do. But I think we should definitely look. And I think what I want to do is just going to be a lot. I want to look at every state, maybe try and just try to find who's voting. Who's running. And so we can share it to you. So you'll know, motivate you to look into the person and say, okay, that's something I want to see. Let's vote for her. Go to the press conferences. I want to do that. And I want to ask questions. What can you do about this? Tell them. Every time I vote for you people, I hate that term. But every time I vote, I don't see what I'm asking for. You win and you don't do what you promise. So that's why we don't vote, because you don't do what you promise. It's no way that we should still have police brutality. After what they did to Michael Brown, Eric Garner, we shouldn't have police brutality. Candace talked about, she tried to just rush over the fact that the officer is now charged. This man deserves life plus life. This man, in my opinion, he should be shot down, dead. In my opinion, I'm sick of it, because you know why? They had many cops that did the same thing. So at this point, if the laws was right, the man would have got the death sentence. He would have got the death sentence, because you're not learning nothing. You want to call us stupid? You want to say we are low IQ? Why are you out there doing the same thing? Why are you out there shooting down a man with his hands behind his back? Because they let them do it. Because they don't. And even when it was time on June 26th, the next day, they still didn't want to charge him. FBI came out with, the FBI came out with an attitude. It's going to take time. They didn't want to charge him. You're welcome, King Ba. Yeah, y'all. Thanks for coming to the live, y'all. I'll be losing track. I'm sorry I haven't really been paying attention to the chat, but we all in it together, y'all. We all in it together. Madame, we all in together. We in it together. There's an African lady that I respect. Now, I was watching this video of an African guy. I'm subscribed to a lot of African YouTube people, because I want to know what they're saying. They over there fighting for us. They over there, they feel like us. They just in Africa. They us. They over there at the U.S. Embassy protesting over there. There was a guy that has a YouTube channel. Can't think of his name right now, but I will mention it another time. And he was just saying, listen, African Americans, sisters and brothers, you think we don't want you here in Africa. You think we think of you bad. I'm sorry you think that way. We love you. And then he went to some other African people, and they also said they love us. They want us to come back home. You know, this is really touching the motherland. This is really hurting the motherland, Africa. But I want y'all to hear this powerful woman who I found to be powerful, African mother. And I like to go back to my African mother, my roots, when I need to. I respect and thank her for that. So let's see if we can find it. It should be right here. Mama Africa. Here we go, y'all. Okay, so that's the video. Now let me go share this. Might be time for us to pack up and go. Like, you don't want us here. I feel like if y'all don't want us here, why are we here? Why are we here? You know? Y'all brought us here to this country. But since we here, we gonna be treated with respect, dog. Like, look, I said dog, but we gonna be treated with respect, period. Period.
Welcome to the African Leadership
I'm
Series,
gonna fast
where we bring you
forward a
breaking
little bit.
To my fellow African diaspora, all week, many of you have called and wanted to know if I was going to give a statement pertaining to George Floyd in Minneapolis. I struggled to give a statement, and every time I could not finish the statement without breaking down. I do hope that I can finish this statement before breaking down. We have all watched in horror the videos pertaining to George Floyd pinned down against the concrete with the knee of a Minneapolis police officer on his neck for over 9 minutes. The police officer did not let go. Even after the police officer had been told that George no longer had a pulse, he still kept his knee on George's neck for another 3 minutes. Clearly, he meant to kill him. As a mother, as a grandmother, I feel hopeless. I feel defeated. I am exhausted. I am tired. How many more children are we going to watch as they get murdered in broad daylight? How many more Black men and women are we going to watch as they get assassinated? As I sit back and try to make sense out of all these senseless killings of Black men, I wonder, what crime have we, the Black race, committed against the white race? Why are some elements of the white race so hateful of Black people? Every time we hear another story of yet another Black man, Black woman being murdered, majority in the hands of those who are supposed to protect us, the policemen, who sits on another man's neck for over 9 minutes and strangle them to death and think nothing of it. I watched the video with policeman with hands in his pocket looking just as comfortable as he could be and thought nothing of it as he murdered George Floyd. What kind of a human being is that? What makes a human being regress to that level? You see, the devil is not a Black being that they tried to make us believe. Somebody who can behave in the manner in which that police officer behaved while murdering George Floyd, that's the personification of a devil. And we must call him for what he is. As I try to understand why is it that we Black people are the most disrespected race on earth, I couldn't help but find myself going back to the history. As Black people, we are not only disrespected in the Americas or anywhere else on earth, we are also even disrespected on the continent of Africa. And that history goes back to colonization and the settlers. While we apologize for having sold our children into slavery 400 years ago, And part of it, a lot of it had to do with our ignorance of what conditions our children were being subjected to as they were transported across the Atlantic. They were transported under some very difficult conditions, and even with all those difficult conditions, the black race still rose. They made it to the Americas. They were subjected to most of the most horrendous treatments on the plantations. And still, they survived. From the lynchings, to the beatings, to the discrimination in the workforce, to the denial of economic opportunities, still, the children of Africa in the Americas rose. Every possible way to eliminate the black race has been attempted. And still, the black race rises. After everything else has failed, those bad elements within the white race have just now finally decided we will just murder them in broad daylight. And that's exactly what we're saying. But to those elements of the white race who do not believe black people belong here, I have news for you. Black people belong in the Americas just like the rest of the white race belong in the Americas. Learn from the history. The black race is indestructible. Black people belong in America just like the white people do. To those who choose to discriminate against black people, I have news for you. Not only are you doing a disservice to your own children, grandchildren, and generations of white people to come, you're also doing a serious disservice to humanity in general. White little girls and black little girls in the Americas or in Africa combined or anywhere else on earth for that matter, they deserve to enjoy their earth to the fullest extent, without any boundaries, without any hate, because this world belongs to them. So when you deny our children the freedom to love each other and live wherever they choose, when you deny our children, regardless of their skin color, the ability to be who they are and enjoy earth to its fullest extent, you are doing a serious disservice to humanity. Your wishes and desires to eliminate black people from the face of the earth will not succeed. So the sooner you wake up and understand that the black race is not going anywhere, the better off you're gonna be. And if you don't do it for yourself, do it for your children and your generations to come. Why? Because they deserve better.
That was beautiful and touching. Very, very touching. So I wanted to share with y'all who may not have seen that. And I just want people to know that you got people all over this world. You got people in Africa. You have people in the UK fighting for you. You got people all over that's now joined. And as the Mother Africa said, that they try to destroy black people from the face of the earth. From the face of the earth. But we keep growing. And you will not succeed. And in my closing, because I'm about to go, I just want to thank everybody who's seen it live. And I just had something in my heart I needed to get out. Because people are food. The building that this Trump man keeps talking about, how thugs and slums and sons of bees are burning down, that building probably needs to come down anyway. That building can be rebuilt. That building can be better. It does not have breath, lungs. It does not have a circulatory system. It don't have nervous system, skin. But George Floyd did. And the saddest part for me is that when they kill people, when anybody kills people, you cut them off from life. Now they have to face God, ready or not. ready or not. And they have to be in a position where they are now faced to live in eternity. No more time, no more chances, no more mercy. Y'all might wonder, well, why would God let this happen? Because God is full of mercy. He's giving you a chance to get it right, to build up in life, in heaven, giving you a chance to love your neighbor. You might have failed. You might have been like Candace tried to paint George Floyd to be this terrible human being that people should not honor and should not put shirts on with his face on it. You might be that way, but God might look at George Floyd as, George Floyd is my son, and I chose him, and he messed up, but I always kept him. I kept him, and I wanted him to live. You know, things happen, but as a result, we're going to have change. We are going to have change. I don't believe that this is going to be one of those chances. We have Cory Booker, who is a senator, who stands in Congress, who passes bills for us, even as of yesterday, fighting for us when we don't even know. We don't even know. I just stumbled across the video. And we got people like that other senator who was trying to pass a bill that could have possibly hurt the case of George Floyd and had them arrest officers, get out if that bill was amended. But Cory said no. And a black senator, she said, from California, said no. She said no. So we're going to make it. My hope is that they stop stealing now. I'm not with the looting. Especially when I got a little cousin that was all over Google because he's caught up in that mess. My little cousin, it's embarrassing to him. And he wasn't raised like that. But he got caught. I seen nothing but black kids in my state on Google. When I clicked on Google, what? I saw his picture along with 13-year-old black girls, 30-year-old black woman. It was like 3 black girls. My cousin, who is in his 30s, 31, I think. And another one. All of them. Stealing, looting, caught. They got charges of felony charges. They might be little charges, but they still got felony charges. Their reputations needs, it's just not a good look. You can't get a job with felonies like that. You can't get a good job. So I would hope that people would stop the stealing. I would, because I don't condone it. In my opinion, you stealing, you a thief anyway. If you okay to steal and take something that don't belong to you, you're a thief. Do I feel like bad? No, I don't care about the material things, nothing else. And that's the point I think that they were trying to make. We don't care. Nothing in this store can't be restocked. But you took our brother from us. You harassed some of us. Or pulled us over. I remember I had an apartment, me and my mom, and I did a video, and the guy lived on top of us. He would harass us. He would scare us, really, because it was just me and her. And he was abusive. He had a gun. That's what really scared me. And he would bang and bang and bang and bang and bang and bang and I kept complaining and nobody would do anything. I called the police. 5 white police showed up, 2 of which were women, and told me that's not a threat. And they stood there with their demeanor as in, I really don't care. And they didn't care. So I told them, why are you here in my neighborhood? You white. If I come in your neighborhood, you would have me arrested on the spot talking about it's not a threat. What if I go harass you? What if he go harass your mother? She ain't had nothing to say. I said, get out of my lawn. Get out. I told them to leave and don't come back. They need to stop sending people to your neighborhood that can't relate to you. Why are they sending people that can't relate, that don't like you? Why are they coming so-called protecting you? So this one officer, I told him, and he was Spanish, he was Latina, he been my angel. He would come. He told me to text him, and I did. He would come in, and I would text him so I didn't want the sirens going so the man could stop. He caught the man in the act. He was helpful to me. And maybe one day I can get him on this live, and I can get him on my live and he can talk. He was very helpful. End of the story is, and I got video about it. I think it happened last year because we moved out of that apartment. We got out. They let us out the lease. I called the I can't think, the people you call when you having issues with your apartment. Called them. The license and inspection came. They witnessed. I was at work. My nephew sends me a picture of a man's leg through my ceiling. God is my witness. But it's crazy because I had just said, Lord, I want his leg in that ceiling. He want to kick our floor, that ceiling now. I said, command. I said, I command that. I want his leg in that ceiling. And guess what? Everything I asked. So nobody can tell me God ain't real. Nobody can tell me Jesus ain't real. I don't care how many friends I lose. And I don't care. People want to debate. It ain't nothing to debate. Because when you know, like can't nobody tell you nothing. Y'all witness. I cuss and everything, but God's still good to me. Because it's not about your works. It's about your heart. It's about grace. Bible says it's not about your works. It's about grace and faith. Faith. That's the hardest part for a Candace Owens. She can do anything else, but she can't have faith in God. She can't believe in Jesus. That's the hardest thing. She'll find a million reasons why he's not real. He's the white man. Anything. That's why a lot of rich people will not make it. They won't. They will never. They put their riches. That makes them arrogant. But it's not about your riches. You can't buy God out. You can't buy your way into salvation. You cannot buy your way into the love. I'm telling y'all, they manipulated the word of God back in them days. Preachers was KKK, and they was lying. They was teaching doctrinated word. They were religious. I'm not religious. I am a believer and I am a saved person. Now I'm working on it, but that's what I am. They were liars professing God's word. No, I believe that it was us that had the word first, and that they try to use that word against us because they didn't want us to have intelligence. They didn't want us to have God. They don't want us to have medicine that's going to heal us. Did y'all hear about the police officers that went in, where was it? I can't think of the state right now. Chicago, I think. The police officers went to the medical office and they were burning it down, and they were burning it down. So the governor said she wants them to answer to it. But I'm saying, why do they got to answer to it? You saw the video. Get her out of office. We need them out of office. Anytime you got to question an officer about why he did it, you should be locking him up. This is an officer. These people they need to be booted and uprooted out of the house, out of these powerful seats. They don't need to be in Congress. They don't need those seats because they don't have heart for people. They are evil leaders. But guess what? It's going to be that way. It's going to be that way. So, but I compel people to stop stealing, because the thing about it is, I'm looking at the God and everything. Believe it or not, how can he justify you if you doing something he hates? How can he have your back when God is not when he's not a God of a liar? He does not do that. He's a holy God. How can he justify you? How can he have your back? How can he fight for you when you going against what he hates? And that's a thief. 7 things he hates. 2 of them is a thief and a liar, and hands that shed innocent blood. That's why you don't want to be caught up out there stealing things. And that's not helping you. So cut it out. Cut it out. But like I said, I ain't mad at you. I understand. They done stole from us. They owe us reparations. They owe us reparations. We built this place. We built this country. We clean that's what I'm saying. So for people that say all lives matter, you wasn't cleaning toilets. Your peoples wasn't cleaning toilets. Your people wasn't having to sleep in the attic or the basement. Your people wasn't getting beaten, whooped just because they black. Your people wasn't being pushed on the field to labor for somebody to sit on their behind. Your people was not called nigger in any dirty word that you could think of. You're not going through what we going through. They ain't shooting yours down. They not shooting yours down over and over again. So don't give me that all lives matter. Everybody matters. We know that. But we fighting right now. If you ain't part of the fight, you better get out the way for you get knocked over. That's what I know. Anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much for listening. I know preaching today, God is real, DD. That's the thing about it. He's real. He is real. And don't let nobody ever, ever, ever make you doubt it. I said it was thundering last night. You know what I did? I watched the sky. I sat, I got quiet like grandma and mom used to tell us to do, turn everything off, watch. I just wanted to hear what God was saying. And what I felt in my spirit is God is angry and God is grieved. He's grieved. He's real. So don't be out there getting caught up stealing. Cause it's not helping. It's not helping. It's making us look like that's all we do. We don't do just all we do. If you wasn't special, you think that you would be a target? You are a target because you are chosen. You are chosen. And God created us all in his image. Although people feel superior because they got a lighter skin, that's them. God said you are all my children. Not all of them. But we all created in the image of God. Those that do my will is my children, is what he said. He said love. See, that's the thing is, and I'm leaving, but the thing is that God wants us to do the hardest things that are the simplest things. Love. You can't say you don't got faith because he gave everyone a measure of faith. Everybody has it. And if I get another call while I'm doing what I'm doing, anyway, y'all, let me go. I will be back live. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all very much. Thank you so much for coming. And I'll make sure y'all hear when I come back. Love you.